Wonderful friends, thank you so much for joining me for the Sunday rune and card readings, and thank you so much. I've been receiving so many comments and communications regarding these readings, and people just saying that they are becoming a real weekly ritual for them. You know, the Sunday morning, get up, cup of tea or coffee, do the readings, and really thank you so much for your feedback and your appreciation. It really is, it's why all of us readers here do these things. You know, we're journeying through such extraordinary times, and you know, we are all, I think, in need of guidance at different times, and so this is what the weekly readings are here for. And thank you so much to those of you who have tuned into the big 3 monthly readings as well. Really truly thank you. I appreciate your support on those. You know, all of your contributions in that area help me to continue to put so much free stuff into the world. Now I'm going to talk about lots of things today, but before I do so, let's tune in with the calling of today. Now, today we are going to be guided in each of the 3 readings by a star constellation. Now, these cards have actually been lent to me. They're not my cards, but it's really interesting. I was drawn very strongly, having been lent them for an entirely different purpose, but I've been lent them, and in connecting with them, I felt very drawn to use them for today's readings. What we're going to actually do, because effectively if I shuffle, we can see which constellations they are because these cards are two-sided. So what I'm going to do is actually dowse. We're going to dowse and take 3 cards out. I'll then clear everything away. I'll probably pause the video, and we're going to, having dowsed the 3 cards, I'll pause the video, clear things out so that we can lay them out, and then we'll tune into the symbolism and the messages that come through for each of those constellations for readings 1, 2 and 3. Now, what I should say, this is all the stuff I need to tell you about. If you're new to my readings, and you already know from the thumbnail at the beginning of the YouTube video, if you already know which reading you want to move to, the timestamp are in the information box below, and they're also in the comments for phone users. There's various links in there. I post every single day to let people know on my Facebook page the position of the moon, and if she's moving into a void of course period, for those of you who are really interested in manifesting with the moon. And for me, it's become a really kind of amazing daily ritual. Actually, again, for me, I check to see where the moon is, and I look at the astrological kind of collaborations, I suppose, the connections, and I'm finding as I kind of look ahead, a key word will often come to mind. You know, it might, whatever that is, you know, it could be synchronicity, or it could be expansion, or it could be you know, reflection or whatever. Anyway, so I'm posting daily on the Facebook page, so anyone that's interested in the moon positions, almost like the flavour of the energy that day, I'll put a link to the Facebook page as well as the timestamps. I also each month give away a free private reading and a first signed limited edition pack of the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards. This last month, I literally only just posted this yesterday, so guys, thank you so much for your patience. I feel like I'm getting later and later with the announcement. It's just that life has been really busy in my world, not in a bad way, in a very good way, and with lots of things moving forwards and, you know, things opening up. There's therefore quite a lot more connections that need to be kind of re-established in different ways. And so, yeah, my apologies for the lateness of my announcement for the winners of June. What I've also done is given away 2 packs of the standard edition of these cards as well. So if you haven't yet checked out the announcements to see if you've won, do check that out. If you're on my my subscriber email list, for anyone new to this community, and that's really what we are an amazing community. You only have to look at the comments to see the level of integrity and insight in you guys is extraordinary. You really do, you're inspirational, really. You blow me away. And so if you wish to join my subscriber email list and be in that draw, you only need to add your name to it once, and the link will be in the information box below as well. So there'll be Facebook link, the draw. Again, you do have to be a subscriber, so you do need to obviously subscribe to the channel and then add yourself to the email list. That link will be there. Yes, timestamps. What else do I need to add? If I think of anything else, I'll add it anyway, or if it comes out in any of the readings. So let me put that down and let's dowse. And also thank you. Somebody actually suggested that I put timestamps for the additional kind of the additional guidance at the beginning of the readings, but I think I'm going to choose not to. I've thought about that, and thank you for your suggestion, but I think really the reason we have the additional guidance is also to help us to tune in to which of the readings is right for us. So anyway, my apologies, little pendulum. Here you are wondering what I'm requiring of you. So let us just ask. So we're going to ask, which card are we going to be using for reading number 1? Now it's pointing very clearly, but I'm going to need to move myself now closer to that direction to see where we are, exactly which card we're being shown. Right, okay, I can see exactly which one that is. So this is reading number 1, the Great Bear. Okay. Now I'm going to ask to be shown which card is going to give us the guidance for reading number 2. Okay, I'm going to move a little bit closer in to see which one we're looking at. It's definitely that one, which is Perseus. Okay. And lastly, reading number 3. May we please ask which card is going to support us, which star constellation will be supporting us for reading number 3. Right, we're very close to that. Okay, so let's just make sure we know which of these two it is. Right, it's this one. Lovely. We have the eagle. Okay, so wonderful friends, I'm going to pause the video for a second, put these cards away, and then we will tune into the guidance from the Great Bear, from Perseus, and from the eagle. So wonderful friends, hopefully that pause has been temporary for you, or literally a blip. I've put them away because they're not my cards. I particularly need to really not even just place them to one side, but put them back in their box. Now I am not massively well versed. I know a little bit about star constellations and their mythology, but I think what we'll do is turn them over and read what's on the other side, and I'm just going to tune in to, I guess, the myths, legends that I'm aware of that connect to these, and as I said, my knowledge isn't huge, but also tune in with just whatever guidance comes through to us. So first of all, reading number 1, we have the Great Bear. I know this is connected to the North Star actually, so the Great Bear, Ursa Major. It says August 8th to 15 and August 24th to September the 10th. I think this is more to do with if you're born in that time. But it says Ursa Major, the Great Bear, is probably the best known and easiest to recognise of all the northern constellations. Also called the Plough, the Big Dipper and the Casserole, it is saucepan shaped and circles around the northern pole. Yes, I knew it was connected to the North Pole. Dubhe and Merak, the two stars which form one side of the saucepan, the side which has no handle, are known as the pointers because a line continued northwards through them points to the pole star Polaris. Okay, so what is coming through here is it's really interesting. It's as if I'm seeing something below the ground. It's like seeds that have been sown, that have been lying dormant. Sometimes maybe something that's been forgotten is going to come to the surface, but it's because you're being given direction. Reading number 1 is connecting to direction. They're a pointer. You're going to be pointed to something. I'm hearing inheritance as well, legacy. There's something, and by that I don't necessarily mean something physical in terms of inheritance or legacy. It's almost something about taking an ownership of your birthright, some aspect of your journey that has been remaining dormant, waiting to emerge. You're going to be shown direction. You're going to be given pointers in some way. That is the message that's coming through for reading number 1. It's to do with being... And it is really connected to it. The pointers. It's not just being shown a sign or a signal through a synchronicity. It's a real pointer. It's a a point that is on your pathway of either destiny, your calling. There's something, which is why it's to do with inheritance or legacy. That's what I'm being shown. There's something that is sitting below the surface, or that will be shown to you. It will become apparent. Maybe it's your time to step up into a role that is designed or meant for you, your purpose, your calling. But this is all about direction, leadership, I'm hearing as well, direction and pointers. But it's quite significant. It's not just a sort of, you know, do I turn left or right and sort of meander my way to the next stage of my journey. This is a significant pointer. So that's what I'm hearing from reading number 1. Reading number 2, Perseus. Now this is interesting. I know, well, I'll read what it says. So May 16 to 31st, I think that's because it's connecting to people who are born then. The stars of Perseus lie in the rich star fields of the Milky Way. I associate Perseus with meteorite showers, shooting stars, and therefore wishes. So to find these stars, use your map first to locate, oh, that's because there's a map here, my apologies, that's in the pack of cards. But it says use your map to locate the bright W shape of Cassiopeia, the queen of the North Pole. Beside her lies the Y-shaped constellation of the glittering hero Perseus. I'm sure if you Google this, you'll be able to find Perseus, if that is, you know, something that's possible in the sky at the moment. Perseus, who is high up near the zenith in December in the northern hemisphere. This is the bit we want to get to now. Perseus was conceived by a shower of gold, and his birth, when he starts to rise each year over the northern horizon, can be seen each August. So we're pretty close to this if you're in the northern hemisphere. Preceded by our brightest annual shower of shooting stars, the Perseids, which appear to stream towards us from his rising constellation. He sets in the west in spring and can be seen low on the horizon from the southern hemisphere between November and January. Yes, so my association with Perseus is of being the legend of Perseus. Perseus was given magical tools to help, a bit like having an invisibility cloak in Harry Potter. He was given magical tools to help him to overcome difficulties. So there's something quite high-flying and magical. The shooting stars, we make wishes. So I think reading number 2 is governed by our capacity, what I'm being shown here. I'm literally sort of seeing shooting stars coming through. It's to do with connecting to your dreams, your visions, and a sense of belief that you will be given what you need in order to manifest those. But literally there's something like magic is around you. It's quite interesting. I feel quite, it's almost like my body is sitting in twinkling energy as I'm talking about this, you know, and it feels like not just one wish, but more than one wish. You know, if you see, I mean, I was always brought up to make a wish on a shooting star. This is feeling as though you have an opportunity to make several wishes, or for your wishes to come true and to be given the magical moments that allow that to happen. So that's very, very vibrant, sparkly is the right word, sparkly energy around reading number 2. I will in a moment talk to you about the moon phase that we're currently in, which is the tribal clan moon phase, the moon mother of she who loves all things. It's why I've been drawn to connect with particularly rose quartz, but also some amethyst too. So I'll speak about that too in a moment, because when we're in a moon phase, we're very often tuning in to some aspect of that layer of wisdom in our manifestations and on our journey as we travel through the month. So lastly, reading number 3, we have the eagle, Aquila. I associate this with ambition and will and being able to rise above something. Transformation, actually. So Aquila, January the 14th to the 28th. Aquila the eagle lies on the borders of the Milky Way. Altair is the bright star in the eagle's throat, which together with Deneb in Cygnus and Vega in Lyra make up the great summer triangle which dominates the northern summer skies. Again, there's a bit about the map here, which is, I think, Google it if you're interested in looking for it. But it says its sentinel stars lying to one side of the Milky Way and Vega on the other. Oh, this is part of this too. Right, this isn't actually telling us much about it. Well, I will tune into what I know of Aquila already. Aquila, as I understand it, is about transformation. It's the energy of Aquila. It's about recognizing our capacity for free will, conscious choice, being able to rise above the ego, to transform to a spiritual perspective, all about transformation. It's also about ambition as well. So it's very different to the sparkly energy in reading number 2 of wishes. This is about ambition and being able to kind of transform and grow in order to manifest that, to become your higher self, to follow that higher purpose, to be able to literally bring into form something that you have, you know, previously been either dreaming of or, you know, desiring. There's something here about ambition. There's a very strong energy associated with reading number 3. It's very interesting because the Great Bear, reading number 1, there was something of an inheritance, a legacy, leadership. This is a different flavour of leadership. The leadership in reading number 1 that was coming through is to do with something emerging, being pointed or shown the direction, something to do with your calling, your destiny. Reading number 2, making wishes, sparkly, magical energy around you for creation. This is much more to do with the power of the mind, the will, ambition, and being able to honour that ambition through integrity, through stepping into your higher purpose in some way, indeed your higher self, seeing something, having the overview of the eagle. So that is the energy coming through in reading number 3. Now, as I said, we are in the clan moon mother of loves all things. And it's interesting because this, over the next month, and I'll draw on this in the readings, so for anyone that's tuned into the big 3 monthly readings. So yes, I will add that to the list in the comments and in the information box below. I will put a link to access those big 3 monthly readings as well. But in those 3 monthly readings, I've talked about the clan mother phases, she who loves all things, which is where we are now. Then we move into the 8th clan cycle, she who heals, and then we move into setting sun woman, the 9th clan mother cycle. So we are July, August, September effectively for those readings. So I'm going to now draw the cards. For those of you who already know which reading or readings you want to tune into, you can fast forward to them. Otherwise, do just sit with me while I draw the runes and the cards. Again, we have she who loves all things around us, that energy where we understand love, interestingly enough, in all its forms, which is coming through, I think, in each of these readings. Our capacity to create, our capacity to receive, our capacity to, you know, be mindful and conscious in our actions. So anyway, let's draw our cards today. So I'm going to draw first of all from the Light Seers Tarot. For those of you who are interested, these cards come from a pack of cards called The Lost Zodiac by Catherine Tennant. This is the Light Seers Tarot, which I absolutely love. I've been using them increasingly. We're going to draw 3, I think. I think we'll also then draw from Aleister Crowley, The Mirror of the Soul, sometimes known as the Thoth Tarot. Ooh, that's our card for that pile. Oops, and there's our card for that one. Yeah, and I think that has come through in a way that has not been showing up. Always when cards are very, I don't know, electric and they're all flooding through, we have to be really thoughtful that you guys can't actually see them. So that you know, if I was doing a big reading and a card flies out, it's straight into the reading. But obviously for for a picker card, it's really, you know, reading, it's really important we don't see them beforehand, or it's just going to, you know, we don't, beyond these and the messages coming through, we don't want to govern our choices. So just one from the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards, and we'll also draw from the Angel pack as well. them into an upright position, as they don't have a reverse, these cards. Okay, right, interesting. A rune has fallen out of the bag. I'm going to use that in reading number 1. And we're going to use 3 runes for each. There we are. So, wonderful friends, we have reading 1, reading 2 and reading 3. Now, you may know which reading is speaking to you already. If you don't, pause the video, sit and just spend some time thinking about, and listening to your inner guidance. In fact, when I say thinking, the only thing I would, venture to invite your mind to do is to become an observer of all that you are feeling, actually. Become an observer and listen with all that you are. And tune into whichever reading, or as I said, readings is speaking to you. And indeed, you may be cross-watching for friends, family, partners, potential partners, tuning in with which reading speaks to you in connection to them. If you're doing that, I would also suggest that you separate the time that you are tuning into the readings for yourself with a time that you are tuning in to sort of cross-watch for someone else. Give yourself a bit of space. Get up and, have a dance break or something, but have a little break in between so that you actually come back with refreshed energy. So, wonderful friends, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the readings. So much love. Namaste. Welcome to reading number 1. So let's have a look at our runes first of all. So we have the rune of fertility. This is a fruit-bearing rune. It's a lovely, lovely rune. It does suggest completion of beginnings. So it suggests that something is needing to be either wrapped up, concluded, sorted out before you can move forwards in some way. However, there is promise here. Now we have the rune of initiation, and this is in reverse. We also have the rune of openings. Now this is really interesting because obviously we've got the card of the Great Bear, which is speaking to us about pointers, about finding our direction. And this is a rune that suggests, out of darkness into light, finding clarity, finding direction. So let's see what cards we have. I'm going to place the Great Bear up here, and actually I'm going to put our runes up here as well. And we'll lay our cards out and just see where we go. So we have the 8 of Cups. You are coming to a completion in some way. There's a phase of something, or a period of life, a chapter of your life is coming to an end. It could be that you've been working on a project and that has come to a completion, but you're moving beyond something, or you are being invited to move beyond something. Now this is interesting that we have the rune of initiation in reverse, because the 4 of Cups would suggest there is, I want to say, a sort of a melancholy around you. It's almost as if there's a sadness at leaving something behind. A phase has come to an end, something has happened, you've needed to move beyond. Again, now look, we have the card of the Moon again, which is also a rite of passage. And yet the 9 of Pentacles is a card of profound promise. We have passion and we have the card of problems. So passion, Archangel Haniel. Trust and follow your renewed passion in your love life and career. Problems. This card asks you to view any problems as an opportunity rather than a crisis. Whenever we identify a problem, our very recognition and acknowledgement of this difficulty creates an opportunity to seek a potential solution. As long as a problem remains unseen or indeed denied, the doorway to a potential solution remains closed. So I'm really hearing a very, very clear message. I'm going to move these down actually just below the card of the Great Bear. Now the Great Bear connects to the North Star. Two of the stars within it, as we heard earlier, point to the North Star. The North Star is our direction, our guiding light. It's the star that sailors used in order to navigate, literally. What I'm seeing here is you are navigating through and beyond something. Now, this is not a small thing. I think I sort of said initially maybe there's a project that's ended. Whatever you are navigating through and beyond, it's not been, I want to say it's not been easy. And you have encountered, I won't say blocks as such. What I'm really being shown is it's external influences. Now, for those of you that follow my readings, you'll know my younger sister is an astrologer. She's a really good astrologer. And so I've been very, very gifted to grow up with astrology being almost like a part of my language. And she always says, you know, when the outer planets, the big planets, are in motion in terms of transiting our own natal charts, she always says, you know, when we're talking about the big planets, we're talking about things that are out of our control. So we could say the pandemic, for example. I mean, I know there's lots of ways of looking at that, but in essence, whatever your personal perspectives, there will be certain things that have ended up taking place that will have been out of your control, one way or the other. And it's got this flavour to it. It's like something has happened it's occurred, and that's what I'm seeing. It's away from you. It's outside of you. You've had to deal with something that was, it was out of your control. You didn't initiate it. It was either initiated by circumstances or by somebody else, but something has happened that you've had to deal with. And what it's actually done is, it's quite interesting. It's created a rite of passage. Now, this is where your birthright is coming in. Now, I spoke about what was, the guidance that was coming through at the beginning. Inheritance, legacy, stepping up into something. I think that this might seem a strange thing to say, and if you are in the midst of journeying away from something, you may be feeling quite a lot of sadness, of melancholy, that something didn't work out. You may be having to leave behind a phase of life, a chapter of life, a group of people, even for some of you, a home or a situation, a job. Actually, what this reading is suggesting is that this is happening with purpose. There's a higher vision. It's actually going to take you into a space where you start to move towards your true calling. The moon is a rite of passage, but the card of the moon sometimes suggests that it's almost as though we have to dive into darkness before we can come into the light. And I'm seeing you coming into the light. I'm seeing you being given a pointer. I'm seeing you being shown the way. The challenge here is that I think you've been shown the way, and it is to do with Nine of Pentacles here. We're talking success. With passion, the card of passion, I'm going to do a little bit of rearranging in a moment and a little bit of energy shifting, which I do sometimes in my readings. So those of you that follow my readings, you'll know I do this. I'm going to move this rune of initiation into its upright position so that we can actually into the non-reverse position. So we're going to do some energy shifting in a second, and maybe some moving of cards. But what I'm seeing here is you've been through something fundamentally big, and ultimately I think most of us can look back at a certain stage in our lives and recognise that something that was really huge turned out to be an absolute gift. It pointed the way. It changed the course of our lives forever, and ultimately for the best. And I think you're at different phases, different stages. This is a generic reading, so it's applying to lots of people in different ways. But the fundamentals, the essence of this, is that you've been through something. There is sadness. It's almost like you're having to process some kind of separation of some sort, actually. And it's leading you where you're meant to go. What you've been dealing with will be giving you the life skills that you've needed to enable you ultimately to follow your true calling, your pathway. So something has happened, and it has the proportions of sort of like destiny, but it will have felt, I think, as though it was happening from the outside coming in. You know, again, it would have felt as though external forces were at work. You had no choice in it beyond working out. I mean, we always have a choice, but our choices sometimes are not. We can't influence what's going on outside of us. We can influence how we choose to respond to what's going on. But there's something quite powerful about that has really had a major impact on your world. I am seeing a really successful outcome, and it is as though this is the events that have taken place are ultimately going to, they're leading you onto and into the direction of your true calling. It's like you're going to find your North Star. This stuff has happened with purpose, but it's been pretty challenging. That's what I'm really hearing. And for some of you, there's been a long process. I think sometimes, again, things move in cycles. Sometimes we can think, gosh, it's been one thing after another after another. For others, it's been perhaps one major event. But ultimately, all of this cycle, the cycle is coming to a close. You are going to emerge. I mean, the moon for me, the rune of initiation, it's kind of like a rite of passage. It's like a birth, in essence, to a bigger, better stage of you. But yeah, Archangel Haniel, trust and follow your renewed passion in your love life and career. You are being invited to move forwards. You are being invited to process that sense of grief. Don't be stuck in it. Don't sit in it. What has happened has been giving you the outlook, the perspective, the keys to be able to actually transform your life. And actually, I suspect for some of you, transform the lives of others in a really positive way. This has happened with purpose and direction ultimately. But I need to say I appreciate it really has not been easy. And that's what's really showing through. So, rune of initiation. I think what we will do is, I'm going to draw on some copal. I have a little pile of large pieces of copal here. Now, the energy of copal, we can burn copal, but the copal is actually it's known as the lifeblood of a tree. It comes from trees that have been struck by lightning. So it's really quite extraordinary in terms of transformation and of cutting cords and of letting go of something, of being free to move forwards. So I'm going to do a little bit of energy shifting. What I'd like to invite you to do is to sit with the cards as they are right now. There's healing involved as well, so we'll draw on the amethyst crystals too. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these cards along a little bit. Now, this is the card where I'm seeing that we need healing here. We do need to cut some cords. We do need to let go of something. We need to move beyond something. And I'm going to bring in some amethyst healing crystals here. I just want to sort of surround this card. So remember that the moon phase of She Who Loves All Things, it's quite interesting that she not only understands how to embrace love, as in like falling in love, being in love, she also governs the energy of transformation where we process loss and learn to re-love again, to be in love with life, with ourselves. So there's something quite powerful here taking place. So we're going to allow this to be healed. That's really where I'm going with this. I'm literally going to surround this card here with amethyst crystals. Just literally lovely energy, and the copal cutting cords, saying goodbye successfully, moving towards the future. We're looking at a very successful future. There's some processing to be done here because this is a rite of passage. Now I'm going to actually shift these cards, because when we understand, that feels good. When we understand that a problem is literally a learning curve, even if it's been a major challenge, it's actually something that is going to give us the life skills we need to move beyond something and to move forwards to greater clarity. So you are in a space of fertility, passion, Archangel Haniel, trust and follow your renewed passion in your love life and career. But completion of beginnings is needed, so we need to complete this. Okay, we're going to move this rune into the upright position here, which means that it is now, it is like a rite of passage. You're moving forwards, and again I'm going to bring more amethyst in here, so we have that sense of moving forwards. Keep these crystals upright, and then I'm going to move the rune of openings. This is actually in its upright position, so we have the rune of openings, fertility and openings, renewed clarity, out of darkness into light. There is opportunity to move forwards here. Whatever is taking place, it needs to take place. For some of you, again, I'm sensing something of I almost want to say a broken heart. So there's something that's been really disappointing. For some of you, something that's been deeply, deeply sad. I'm also going to bring in a beautiful rose quartz crystal heart here. I'm going to bring this in because this is what is really in essence being promised here. But you are in that space of a rite of passage, and it does have to be navigated. Remember, this is all about refinding your North Star, refinding your calling, your purpose. Whatever you've been through, it will ultimately be giving you the life skills you needed to move forwards and follow your calling and your destiny. I know that's not easy when you're in the thick of something, and I can see being shown people at different stages on the journey here. But wherever you are with this, you are being invited here. Archangel Haniel, trust and follow your renewed passion in your love life and career. It's time to allow your world to open up. Leave this behind. Step back into life again, and allow yourself to move into that space of rebirth and emergence, and refind that direction and your North Star. Wonderful friends, I am just sending you so many hugs and so much love. This has been a challenge, and I can see it really has been. Whether it's that big event or whether it's been a series of things, one after the other, that's really, really, just been a challenge, a significant number of challenges that have built up. It's time to leave that behind. Wonderful friends, so much love to you. Namaste. Welcome to reading number 2. Let's have a look at our runes first of all. So we have the rune of harvest. Now this rune sometimes signifies the need for patience, actually. It's quite interesting because this is governed by Perseus, shooting stars, magic, being given magical tools to help with something. So patience maybe is needed. We have the rune of ice. This is interesting because ice suggests that something is at a standstill. Now, sometimes it literally means there's a block and we need to, do some inner work to remove the obstacles within us. It can mean we are being blocked. Sometimes it can also be an invitation to stand still, to stop, to look, to become more aware. So let's see what else we are shown. We then have the rune of the self, which is interesting because the rune of the self speaks of, recognizing yourself at the center, as the center of or the source of change within your own world. Also potentially, the rune of the self, it's interesting, it's the rune of joy in its mirrored position. So again, maybe you are needing in some way to see something that is around you. I'm going to move those runes down here and we'll look at our cards next. So, okay, so there's new beginnings around you, potentially new love for some of you. Ace of Cups, Three of Wands and the World. Oh wow, we also have the Eight of Discs, the card of Prudence, difficult emotions, hello from heaven. Right, you're in a space of new beginnings. So, gosh, I feel like there's a contradictory energy around you. So on the one hand, it's like you're in a space of new beginnings, you're looking ahead, there's actually cause for celebration. something, you have achieved something, you've reached a certain stage of something. However, yeah, you're at an initial stage of something. That's what I'm really seeing. It's almost as though you're being asked to have patience, and I think you need to persevere. It's like, I don't know if there's a frustration around or a sense of I'm really being called to invite you to connect with the magic that's around you. There's something about sitting in a space of gratitude and not trying to hurry things. Something needs to be nurtured here. Now, this is an interesting card here, Hello from Heaven, and along with the card of difficult emotions. So hello from heaven, Archangel Azrael, your loved ones in heaven are doing fine. Let go of worries and feel their loving blessings. Now, this card sometimes shows up because we've lost somebody, and it really is that reassurance that they're okay, and we don't have to worry about their pathway, they're fine. What I'm also really hearing very strongly is, I think this card is coming through today because you're being shown that actually your loved ones are walking alongside you. You're needing to persevere through something here, but you need to nurture it. So the rune of harvest, I'm going to move this over here. The rune of harvest speaks of a period, sometimes of a year. It's like of the natural cycles of things. So you're doing something, you're working on something, you're emerging. For some of you, you've been working on something. Actually, it's not just that you are working on something, you've sown some seeds. I mean, for some of you, that will be there. I'm kind of seeing something bigger than that. I'm seeing something that you've been working on, and it's not quite emerged yet. You know, it's like if you're, I don't know, you're writing a book. So you're writing your book, and you haven't quite got to the finish line yet. You've done a lot of work. You've done loads. It's quite near the finish line. That's what I see. But there's something about frustration and about, in fact, I am being shown two distinct pathways here. So for some of you, it's like you're at the start of something and you are being reassured that you're being supported and guided. That's for everyone. Some of you, you're at the beginning of something, and it's almost as though you're being asked to sort of trust that possibility, to invest in it and to persevere. The other pathway, you've been investing in it, you've been persevering, and it's not quite there, and you're being asked to kind of push through to the finish line. So you're being asked to not procrastinate, just to keep going, but be steady about it, okay? Be very steady. And so there's difficult feelings around whether you are at the beginning of something, whether you are in the final stage of something, but both ways, you're being asked to listen to your emotions, listen to them as being valid, okay, because they're actually helping to shape your pathway here. You're needing to nurture something. You really are. So for some of you, there's almost fears of starting something new. If somebody is new in your life, if you're in a new relationship, or you're getting back together with someone, you're making the next stage of commitment to something, there's perhaps a little bit of anxiety here. I'm being shown the difference between emotions that are to do with your current circumstances and emotions that are tangled with the past, and you're being asked to differentiate between the two. Again, if you've experienced loss, then maybe it's quite hard to feel that it can be safe to begin again. There are difficult emotions around. Actually, those difficult emotions are part sometimes of the healing process. They're part of helping you to recognize what you're needing to work on to move forwards, but you are being invited to invest. Really, really interesting. Reconnect with the magic. Make those wishes. Believe that they are possible. Believe that you are worthy of nurture. That's what I'm really being shown here. For those of you who are working on something, you're manifesting, and you've reached a stage where it hasn't quite come through, please be mindful that if we think of the astrology, the astrological stuff going on at the moment, a lot of the big planets, you know, Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, Neptune, they're all in retrograde, which means that it can feel like we're trying to wade upstream. And it can feel like we're not getting anywhere. We're actually working really, really hard, but we're not getting anywhere. If you've ever tried to walk against a current, it's very, very hard to make progress. The interesting thing is, of course, you are making progress. Because if you stop and you stop wading against the current, you'll just be pushed further downstream. So even though it feels like progress isn't massively moving forwards, you are actually making progress. What you're doing is building your strength, you're building your resilience, and you're building a foundation. You know, when these big planets start to move forwards, we're going to see quite a lot emerge. So we've got a very valuable period at the moment, July, August, September. That's why I do my readings in 3 monthly periods now, the big readings for all signs. It's because it gives us an overview and we get a flavour of what's going on. And the next 3 months for all signs in very different ways are all about building that foundation. And it's enabling us to be in a position to really, really, I think, burst forth when things start to move forwards. Come, I was about to say the autumn. If you're in the southern hemisphere, it won't be the autumn, it'll be spring. But one way or the other, I think we're going to see things shift. At the moment, you're being asked to tune into the magic, realign with the magic. There's also something about, so we have the rune of ice here. Now, sometimes the rune of ice is about blocks. I'm not seeing so much about blocks here. It's more, I mean, yes, some frustrations. Yes, some sort of, gosh, it feels really hard work. I'm working really hard. I'm not moving forwards. You are moving forwards. Hold your vision. Keep sight of your wishes. Things are going to come to a completion. And in many ways, there is nurture to be done in order to hold that foundation. Those who love and guide you are walking with you. What you're being encouraged to do here is to get centered in what I want to say, attending to the details in an everyday way. So the rune of the self speaks of living an ordinary life in an extraordinary way. Now, I've just spoken about building a foundation, which I think is what the energy is about, astrologically anyway, for all of us globally over the next few months. We're in transition, we're laying new foundations, and as we do that, the overall energy, I think if you think of yourself, your own energy as being a foundation stone, then what we're wanting to do is to right our energy, get our own personal energy resonating at its highest, strongest, fullest, with resilience, with durability, but also in tune with the magic. So it's like we're anchored to the ground, we have a foundation, but we're attuned to the vision ahead. This is actually an amazing space for you guys to be sowing those seeds, looking ahead, seeing where you want to go, what you want to complete, and then nurturing this into being. Don't be afraid. You know, this card asks you to listen to your emotions. Every emotion we have is necessary and important to us, even the challenging ones. Difficult feelings are letting you know that something is not okay. Learn to understand and love your emotions and discover how they serve you. Now, I'm being shown some layers of emotion that come from the past. That's actually helpful. You might think, oh, you know, why do I have to see these things? Well, actually, when emotions come up from the past, it helps us to know that we haven't fully processed something and we can let it go. So again, attend to the details. Pause, take a break, stand still for a while, look at the scenery, review where you are. Again, live an ordinary life in an extraordinary way. When we invest in ourselves in an ordinary way, when we sort of say, do you know what, whatever I'm doing, if it's a mundane task or it's a really big task, I'm going to give it 1,000%, whatever I do. What you're actually doing is setting your own energy at 1,000%. You know, whatever it is, doesn't matter what you're doing, hanging the washing on the line, feeding the birds, going for a walk, talking to a friend, talking to a family member, talking to yourself. Give it 1,000% of your best. And every time you invest on that level of energy, you are raising your own vibration, you're nurturing yourself, and in doing so, you're nurturing the energy of your future dreams, of your pathway, of the unfolding pathway. And yeah, even if you are listening to challenging feelings, give 1,000% to your ability to listen. You know, if you give 1,000% to listen to someone else, then give 1,000% to listen to yourself. Very much tuning into the energy of the rose quartz and amethyst here. The clan Mother Moon loves all things. She understands not just how to love in the way that, you know, like romantic love. She understands it's the love of all things, the love of life, the love of ourselves, of keeping that vibration high, of processing emotions so that even through loss, even through hurt and difficulty, we still come out in a space of loving and therefore a space of profound creativity. There's something very big taking place in the readings this week, actually, in terms of overall of processing this energy of transformation in very unique and individual ways. You are being offered, invited, I don't know, we always have conscious free will and choice, we can do what we want, but you are being invited to step into a space where you realign with the magic, step into a space of gratitude and appreciation for everything. Process. For some of you, there has been a loss, but that person is walking with you. It's a very clear message coming through. That person is walking with you. For others, you're just being, I'm being asked to say to you, it's like ancestors around, ancestors walking with you, family members going back generations walking with you. Inviting you to nurture, put down your frustrations, nurture yourself and all of life, and everything will naturally start to flow into being at the right time and space. And enjoy the magic of the moment. Again, we can be in such a hurry sometimes that we create difficult emotions for ourselves. We're in such a hurry to achieve our goals, because that's what we do certainly in our Western culture. We're very goal orientated, that we forget to stop and smell the roses. And actually, you know, we forget that life is the journey, not these goals where we get to something and then launch ourselves into the next space of new beginnings. So enjoy the journey, nurture. There is something here to, I want to say, invest in the magic, and the gifts you need will not only be shown but brought to you. That's what I'm being asked to say. Wonderful friends, it's very tingly. It's very tingly. There is a lot going on for you guys. There's healing, there's magic around. Yeah, but nurture. Wonderful friends, sending you just so much love. Yes, and the biggest hugs ever. Namaste. Welcome to reading number 3. Let's have a look at our runes. So we have the rune of the spiritual warrior. This is about discernment, actually. Yeah, discernment. There's a sense of, when I spoke about Aquila, transformation. So maybe you're needing to, seize the moment, take action in some way. We have the rune of joy. Wonderful. This is out of darkness into light. It's a fruit-bearing rune. It would suggest that you've come through a period of difficulty and you are now emerging. And the rune of growth. Berkana. Lovely. This is a whole new phase of life. Something is emerging. Something's coming forth. Wherever you've come from, it's time to take action and move forwards. This is about your will, your direction, your, I almost want to say determination, actually, as well. So we have King of Wands. This is a card of leadership. This is interesting. We've got the Three of Swords and the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, so Three of Swords, Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Why is this in reverse? Because I feel like you're being offered an opportunity here. Or I say the opportunity, it's like you're starting a new phase of life. You know, you've come through a period of difficulty. Something's been really challenging. This is the healing of a broken heart. You're moving forwards. We have the Sun, life force, vitality, energy available to you. Why is this in reverse? Okay, grace and gifts from God. Okay. When we sit in relationship with grace, we see every situation through the eyes of love, fostering our desire to meet life with understanding, compassion and kindness. This card asks that you view your situation with grace. Will understanding bring compassion? How would love view your possible choices? What would kindness suggest you do? There's still a residue here. You're actually in a space of really, really amazing new beginnings here. You know, you can take charge of something here. You can set your mind to something and achieve it. It's like, I always think if we think about manifestation, and we think about working with the moon, it's why I post my daily timings on our Facebook page, so that if you're manifesting with the moon, you can really align and tune in with that energy. But if you're working with the moon cycles, you know, and you're working with manifestation, you'll know that, you know, we can set wishes and we can set intentions traditionally at the new moon. They're very, very different actually. The energy of a wish is about, you know, it's about that dream time. But the energy of an intention is, I will, you know, I commit to doing something. And this is much more about intention. It's about willpower. It's about deciding to move beyond something, letting go of something. The rune of the warrior, discernment. The rune of the spiritual warrior, it literally sometimes says, cut away the old, let go of something, move beyond something. Something has been blocking you. But you're ready to move forwards. And for me, the Ten of Pentacles, this is like, you know, I don't know, it's like the dreams come true, kind of winning the lottery kind of stuff of, you know, it's like everything's going to come to fruition. You know, the universe has your back. This can speak of new relationships. So if your heart was broken by somebody, it may be that you are literally emerging from that. But it's time to really let it go in no uncertain terms. So look back, and if somebody has treated you badly, view them with compassion and sadness that's how they're living their life, you know, and send them love and move away. This is time for you to receive. You are being asked to receive. I'm seeing a very clear division here, okay, because you're being invited to step into a space of leadership. You know where you want to go. You know what you want. You know what you desire. Everything here, you know I don't know, whatever your ambitions are, you know what they are. You know your desires, your ambitions. You're being asked here to have the willpower almost, and the compassion. It's this lovely balance of the masculine and the feminine, the willpower and the compassion. If you think about compassion, the word itself, the French com, with, it means with passion. Compassion with passion. So we draw a line, we say goodbye to something. You're being invited to step forwards. I'm going to do energy shifting in this reading wholeheartedly. I want to free you of the past and I want you to let go of something and move into a space of receivership. So this is where we're sitting at the moment with our cards and our runes. I'm going to place this one back here and just ask you to sit with how this actually feels. It's quite interesting. I have a tension across my back. It is around the sort of area of my ribs as I'm sitting with this reading. It's quite curious, and I feel like I want something to be lifted off me. Beautiful, beautifully aligning with She Who Loves All Things, the Clam Moon Mother, because again, she learns to love everyone, to love everything, even when they behave badly or something has gone wrong, or, you know, just to love them and be compassionate. It doesn't mean, though, that we tolerate anymore, it means we send love and walk away. So yeah, discernment is needed. So let's sit with the energy as we are. Okay, and then I'm going to do a little bit of shifting of the cards because there's a very clear division here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these over and I'm going to create almost two little mini readings. So view your situation with love and compassion. You know where you want to go. You know what you want to do. That is your entitlement. Okay, you know what you want to do. Yeah, let's just sit this here. You know the direction, you know your desires, you know what you would like to do. Observe whatever this is for you, this heartbreak. Observe this with compassion, including yourself. Including yourself. It's time to let it go. We have the rune of discernment, cutting away the old, holding firm, knowing that you can choose life again. We have the rune of joy. Wonderful energy. Wonderful, wonderful energy. The rune of joy is it's out of darkness into light. It's carried across the gap by the wings of heaven. It's the universe says, this is over now. You can move forwards. It's time to take flight. It's a new dawn, literally a new dawn. The rune of growth, of Berkana. This is another fruit. These are both fruit-bearing runes. And this is saying take charge here. You take charge, you decide, you move forwards. It's got that sense of, determination, transformation. This is a whole new phase of life. It's a whole new period of growth. It's magical. The rune of Berkana is symbolized by the birch tree, which is the first tree to seed itself after a forest fire. So after something big, where it seems as though, everything has been, wiped out, we start again. There's something very fresh and fabulous coming through here. Now we have these in place. You need to open yourself to receive. And I'm going to write the energy of this card. 10 of Pentacles. This is the lottery win. This is your dreams come true. This is the abundance in every way. Love, family, security, finances, it's the package. And the Sun. This is often, this can indicate a new relationship and a new relationship of higher consciousness. So for those of you for whom this relates specifically to relationship and a broken heart, there is a new relationship on the horizon with genuine potential. Gifts from God. Archangel Sandalphon. We angels bring you gifts from your Creator. Open your arms to receive. This is very clear. The energy of this reading number 3, very clear. It's all about you allowing yourself to receive. Let go of the old with compassion. Release judgment, release blame, release any of the stuff that would hold you back. You know what you want. And it's high time that you stepped up and said, you know what, I deserve that. And I am now going to open myself to receive. This is really, it feels very empowered. I mean, that's the energy of Aquila, the eagle. It's about empowerment, transformation. I think it's the elements of air and fire again. I mean, actually, fire needs air to breathe and to flourish. One way of putting a fire out is to dampen it. And in the past, I think you've been dampened. It's time to release that, let it go. This is no longer the case. This reading is full of vitality, absolutely full of vitality, of opportunity, whatever this is, whether it's relationship or a new opportunity in some way in your world. This is really saying, open your arms to receive. Just let this stuff go. It's not yours to carry anymore, unless you choose to, but you really, really have that choice. Wonderful friends, I'm excited for you. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading. And I look forward to seeing you. For those of you that haven't checked out the big readings, the big 3 monthlies, do check them out if you wish to, because they are extraordinarily interesting. We're looking at the next 3 months as we navigate the next 3 months is a very powerful thing to do in terms of empowerment. In those readings I've also drawn karmic cards and relationship cards too, so you get a lot of readings within each one. Wonderful friends, so much love to you. Namaste.